Hi, I'm David Smith from Silicon Valley Business School. In this video, I'm going to show you how to form a Delaware corporation. At Silicon Valley Business School, we provide affordable, real-world business education to everyone, everywhere. We also educate and mentor entrepreneurs and help guide their startup ventures towards success through our Mentor Accelerator program. It's an online program. Check it out at Silicon Valley Business School. All right, so if you are forming a new company and you in the Silicon Valley style, you want to have the possibility of raising finance from venture capital investors at some point in future, or sell the company, or you might want to IPO the company, you're going to want a Delaware corporation. Don't file a corporation in Wyoming or any other state, wherever. Don't file it in your home state if you're not living in Delaware. You need a Delaware corporation because that's the law, that's the type of business entity that the investors trust. And not only that, you need to form it in a certain cookie cutter style with the right amount of shares, the right bylaws that the investors are familiar with and they're looking for. All right, so the first thing you need to do is find a company name. The name has to have either incorporated on the end or corporation, something to indicate that it is a corporation. But also you need to make sure the name is available. So what you do is you go to this website here, you do a search, and you search for the name of the corporation that you want to file. And if it doesn't already exist, then you're in good shape. Of course, you might want to search trademarks. You might want to search for a domain name before you do this to make sure that the name is a good one. But this is where you figure out if the name can be registered with the state of Delaware. And that's basically, the question is, has it been registered before? Is it already being used? All right. So then you choose a registered agent. You will need the registered agent because you need to have a local address in Delaware. If you're not living in Delaware, you'll need a registered agent. If not, you are your own agent. I mean, you can, if you have your own residence in Delaware, you're living there, then you can obviously form your own, act as your own agent. But otherwise, you need a local office that's going to receive important mail from the state of Delaware and other things like lawsuits and things like that. So the registered agent, you can find lists of registered agents on the Delaware website. So these agents generally, they will provide additional services beyond simply, kind of forwarding your mail. They charge between $45 and like $200 a year for acting as your registered agent. And as we'll see later, some of them will help you through the whole incorporation process. All right, so now that you have that, you have your name, you have the registered agent's address, you essentially have a local address, then you need to come in here to the Delaware website. This is if you're doing it yourself. And then you go through the formation forms here. This is a stock certificate of incorporation. This is you need to write a letter like this one, addressed to Delaware Divisions of Corporation, and then you basically fill out this form. You put the name of the corporation there, the registered office. This is your registered agent's office here, and the total amount of stock to authorize. You're going to need at least 20 million shares of stock. That's the typical way that you would form a corporation in Silicon Valley and what the investors are looking for. I'll have another video on this showing you how you allocate that top stock. Typically 10 million will go to the founders, 3 million will go into an equity incentive plan, 7 million will be retained for use to be issued to investors. The share price, this is important that you actually set a share price, and you can set the share price at 1,000. It's typically either 1/10 of a thousandth of a dollar. So a hundredth of a cent or 1,000th of a cent is typically what you would do here. And so then you send this off. What happens then is the Secretary of State in Delaware will process this, and you'll get a certificate that the company is duly formed. All right. Now, once the company has been formed, you need to then hold the first shareholder meeting, where the shares that are being allocated to the investors. I will, on a separate video, I'll show you how to allocate the shares to the founders. But basically, you purchase those shares, like 10 million shares might cost you $1,000. So you issue those shares, you appoint the members of the boards of directors, you approve the bylaws. The bylaws also have to be done in a certain cookie cutter style. Don't just use off-the-shelf bylaws. Silicon Valley investors and venture capital investors all over the world, they want the bylaws to be structured in a certain way. So you need to use the right bylaws. We have the bylaws that you can use on Silicon Valley Business School in our knowledge base. Okay, then the incorporator resigns, because now you have your board of directors and you have your CEO appointed. And then the next thing to do would be to register for an employer identification number with the IRS. This is federal. You come to this website here, you go through here, fill out this form, and you can register and get an employee identification number, which you will need if you're going to be doing any business in the United States anywhere. So, all right. And then if you're from outside of Delaware, like California, you need to qualify to do business in your state. So in using California as an example, you need to get a certificate of good standing from Delaware. California or your state needs to know that your company is duly formed in the state of Delaware. There's a cost for this. It's like $10 or $20 or something from Delaware. You go to a website here and you order your certificate of good standing. Once you have that, you then go to in California, you go through here and you would register corporations. You would fill out this form here to register and qualify to do business in California. That's the basics. There are other things which I'll cover in other videos. Franchise taxes. As I'm producing this video today, I'm going to be paying the franchise taxes on a bunch of companies, Delaware companies that we own. Currently, the minimum franchise tax is $480 a year, so you have to file that. You have to pay that. You also pay in your local state, whatever taxes they are. It's important that you set this par value on your shares, because if you issue 20 million shares and you don't set a par value, your franchise taxes in Delaware are going to be like $80,000 a year. So instead of doing that, you pay 480 as a minimum currently, but that it's important to make sure that you set the par value of the shares. You don't have no par value shares, because otherwise you pay a lot more. So okay, now there are incorporation services. Often the registered agent services will provide incorporation services as well. They are specialists. They provide additional help for you with getting forms. They will send you reminders of important deadlines. The cons are sometimes if you get the wrong ones, they could just get in the way, slow down the process. What I've showed you here today is how you can form the corporation directly yourself. But otherwise, you can use one of these incorporation services, and they will do it for you. But if you use the wrong ones, then sometimes they can take too long and just get in the way. I've had them take months and really slow the process down. I had good experiences as well. There are additional fees, but it's not expensive. Often the registered agent will provide additional services. So sometimes, let's say you're paying $75 a year for your registered agent service. and then $89 to form your corporation. Well, often you'll find that these registered agents will do the incorporation for you and provide you with additional services, even things like stock certificates for $200, $250, $300. So it's a good deal, and if you get the right ones. So you might look into that, shop around, and you can find that the costs are quite reasonable, because you've got to pay the registered agent fees anyway if they're going to provide additional services, like reminding you of important deadlines and things like that. Then that can be very helpful. So there you go. That's how you form a Delaware corporation. Keep an eye out for other videos from me about then how to structure your shares and other things. We have thousands of videos and learning materials on the svbs.co website. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a hot startup and you're looking for help and guidance, check out our Mentor Accelerator program. All right. Thanks very much.